Mercy General, the rusted gate of Mercy General Hospital groaned open as the wind picked up. The sky above was a washed-out gray, thick with approaching storm clouds. Weeds had overgrown the parking lot. The building stood tall and silent, its windows like empty watching eyes. Alex, a 26-year-old urban explorer, stood at the entrance with his flashlight and camera. He'd driven 4 hours to get here, drawn by stories of screams heard at night, flickering lights in dead hallways and missing hikers. He loved this stuff. The front doors were shattered long ago. Inside, a thick, musty air greeted him. Wet walls, mold, dust. The reception desk was buried under papers. Wheelchairs stood motionless like frozen ghosts. Alex turned on his flashlight. Paint peeled from the ceiling like rotting skin. Footsteps echoed behind him. He spun. Nothing, just his own breath. He pressed record. Mercy General, closed since 1996. Site of over 40 patient deaths during a mysterious blackout. Staff vanished. One of the nurses was never found. Let's see what they left behind. He moved deeper into the hospital. Broken beds lined the hallways. Operating tools lay scattered, rusted. Dried stains decorated the floor, faint but unmistakable. The silence was alive. He reached the ICU. The door was locked. Odd. Everything else had been broken. He shoved hard. The door creaked open, rows of beds, all empty. Except one. The bed closest to the back wall had its curtain drawn shut. He approached. "Classic horror setup," he whispered, forcing a laugh. He pulled the curtain. Nothing there. Just a deep indentation on the mattress, like someone had just been lying there. He stepped back. The heart monitor next to the bed crackled and turned on. Beep, beep, beep. It spiked. Beep! Then silence. He ran from the room. The hallway lights, long dead, flashed once, then again, then stayed on. He was sweating now. The stairwell was at the end of the corridor. He pushed through the door and climbed up to the 3rd floor, psychiatric ward. The air grew colder. Graffiti covered the walls, names, handprints, symbols, and one sentence written in red: "You don't leave once you're admitted." He stepped into a patient room. A name tag still hung from the foot of the bed. Rachel M., Suicide Watch. The closet door creaked. He turned. It opened slowly. A whisper came from inside. He took my face. He dropped his flashlight. In the moment of darkness, he heard movement, heavy breathing, a wet dragging sound. He scrambled to pick the light up and ran out, down the hallway. The doors along the sides began slamming one by one. Bang, bang, bang. Then a scream, a woman's scream, long, ragged, full of agony. He turned to look and saw someone standing at the end of the hall, wearing a nurse's uniform. Her face was blurry, like static. Her arms dangled too low. Her fingers twitched unnaturally. He ran, found the elevator. The doors opened without power. Inside stood a wheelchair, facing the wall. He got in, hoping for stairs on the other side, but the elevator doors closed behind him. Pitch black. The elevator dropped. Fast. Too fast. He screamed. Then it stopped. The doors opened to a floor that didn't exist on the map. Basement. Records room. The hallway was lined with filing cabinets, some open, some vibrating. The walls pulsed. He stepped over scattered files. Stopped. His name was on a chart. Alexander Reed, admitted, 11:34 p.m. Status, unstable. The paper was warm. The lights went out again. He turned around. Behind him was Rachel, the girl from the room. Only now she had no eyes, just deep holes. Her mouth was open in a silent scream. Her fingers were made of scalpels. She lunged. Alex ran, turning corner after corner until he burst into the morgue. Rows of cold chambers. Every door stood open. All empty, except one. Slam. The door behind him locked. He was trapped. One by one, the drawers began to open. Hands emerged, then heads, each face staring at him. Burned, torn, familiar. One whispered, "We all left something behind." A final drawer opened. Inside was his own body, eyes wide, mouth screaming. Then darkness swallowed the room. The next morning, Mercy General looked the same, silent, still. Except room 303, Rachel's room, had fresh footprints on the floor. A new name appeared on the wall beside it. Alexander Reed, permanent resident. The motel room. The road was long, straight, and quiet. Ethan had been driving for over 12 hours across Arizona, eyes red from caffeine and dry wind. It was past 1 a.m. when the neon sign flickered into view. Sunset Pines Motel. Vacancy. A single-story structure stood alone in the desert. 10 rooms. One working light above the check-in office. No cars in the parking lot. He rang the bell. An old woman appeared behind the counter. Thin lips, sunken eyes, pale skin stretched over a skull-like face. "One night," he said. She slid a key toward him. No words, just a key. Room 6. He parked, grabbed his bag, and unlocked the door. The room smelled like dust and mildew. A cracked mirror above the sink, brown stains on the carpet. But he was too tired to care. He threw himself onto the bed and passed out. He woke up gasping. The room was freezing. The clock on the nightstand blinked 3:33 a.m. He reached for the blanket and froze. There were muddy footprints on the floor, leading from the bathroom to the bed. He hadn't gone into the bathroom. His chest tightened. The bathroom door was half open. Darkness beyond it. Something moved inside. Slow, heavy. He grabbed his flashlight, heart hammering, and crept forward. The light beam flicked on and revealed nothing. No one there. He stepped in. The mirror above the sink was fogged up. A message appeared on the glass, as if written by a finger. "You shouldn't have come here." He ran out of the bathroom, grabbed his bag, and reached for the door. It wouldn't open. Locked. He pulled harder. No use. The lights flickered. In the mirror behind him, a shape stood, tall, twisted. Its face was a blur, like smeared clay. Its arms too long, fingers like wires. He turned around. Nothing there. He turned back to the mirror. The shape was closer, right behind him. He turned again. Empty. Then he saw something on the bed. A Polaroid photo. He picked it up. It showed a man sleeping in the same bed, same room, same angle. On the back, taken at 3:33 a.m. The light went out. He screamed. Something heavy moved in the corner. He backed into the bathroom, slammed the door, and locked it. A whisper came through the crack beneath the door. "You're room 6 now. Forever." He turned toward the mirror. His reflection was smiling, but he wasn't. The reflection raised a hand. Ethan's own hand stayed still. Then the mirror cracked. Blood seeped from the cracks. The room groaned. He screamed again. Then silence. The next morning, the front desk bell rang again. The same old woman slid a new key across the counter to another traveler. No words, just a key. Room 6. The bus that never reached. The rain had started around midnight, heavy, rhythmic, and relentless. Sajid stood under a dim streetlight, backpack clutched to his chest, waiting for a ride that shouldn't have existed. The bus pulled up exactly at 12:13 a.m., a rusty old machine with no number, no signboard, and no sound except the hiss of the door opening. He hesitated. The street was empty. No rickshaws, no cars, just that single bus in the downpour. He stepped in. The inside smelled of damp seats, old metal, and something else, something sweet and rotting. There were 8 passengers already, scattered. None of them moved or looked at him. They stared forward, rigid as mannequins. Sajid chose a seat near the back. The door closed behind him with a sound like something breathing. The bus began to move, slow at first, then smoother. No bumps. No sound from the engine. Minutes passed. The passengers didn't blink, didn't cough, didn't shift. Sajid looked at the driver. He wore a blue uniform but had no face. Where his features should be, there was only smooth, stretched skin like wax. Sajid's chest tightened. He looked down at his phone. No signal. 12:24 a.m. He tried to get up. His body felt heavy, like his limbs were resisting. He managed to stand and walk to the front. "Where's this bus going?" His voice echoed. No reply. The faceless driver kept his hands on the wheel. Sajid grabbed a handle and looked outside. The city was gone. Only trees now. Endless tall black trees rushing past like streaks of ink. He turned. One of the passengers was missing, the old woman who had sat near the front. Gone. No sound. No stop. His heart pounded. He walked aisle to aisle. The air grew colder. Another man vanished. His seat now stained with a dark liquid slowly dripping to the floor. Sajid backed away. The window glass started fogging from the inside. Fingerprints appeared, small, frantic hands clawing from within. He screamed. The lights inside the bus flickered. With each flicker, another passenger disappeared. 7 left. Then 6. A girl turned to look at him. Her eyes were completely black. "You weren't supposed to leave last time," she said softly. "What are you talking about? You escaped. The rest of us burned." He shook his head. "That's not true. You ran out of the wreckage. We stayed. You never looked back." He stumbled. His memories rushed in. Twisted metal, screaming fire, a crash, a night just like this. He had survived, and he had forgotten. The bus kept moving. Now there were 3 passengers, each one staring at him, each one with melted faces. The girl stood up. "We came back for you." The floor beneath him turned soft, wet. He looked down. He was sinking. Dark liquid oozed up to his knees. Screaming faces swirled below the surface, moaning without sound. The windows shattered. Cold wind rushed in. The forest outside was gone. Only fog now. Only screaming. He closed his eyes. When he opened them, he was in the same seat again. The bus was still, empty, except for him and the driver. His own face stared back at him from the driver's seat. The door opened. A new passenger stepped in.